When the best cowboy in the world was competing on a normal day, he was assigned to ride a bull that people thought was very gentle, without knowing that the animal had a plan. The cowboy's name was Lane Frost, a 25-year-old and one of the biggest names in rodeo history. Raised in that world, he had been riding bulls since childhood and quickly stood out for his incredible skill and control on top of them. And in 1987, he reached the top, becoming world champion of the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. But more than titles, Lane was known for his humility, respect, and pure passion for what he did. Before that day, he had already faced a bull that had thrown off the last 300 cowboys who tried to ride it, and he was the first in history to defeat it. At that point, he was already a legend, and the 20,000 people inside that arena were there just to watch the best cowboy in the world dominate another bull. Of course, all the bulls in these competitions are trained to throw off anyone riding them, but compared to bulls that had seriously injured other competitors, the one didn't seem like much of a challenge for the best in the world. As soon as the ride began, Lane held on for the full 8 seconds, which was enough to win and earn an incredible score from the judges. But the next step was getting off the bull safely, and that's where the real problem appeared. Lane was considered one of the most consistent cowboys of his time, with incredible precision and an almost unnatural ability to stay in control, even on the most unpredictable bulls. While many riders trained their entire lives just to last 8 seconds, for him it seemed almost automatic, and he would always dismount calmly. But that day, fate had something else in mind. As soon as he jumped off the bull and got up to leave, the animal charged and struck him in the chest with tremendous force, knocking him to the ground and causing severe internal injury. At first, no one realized how serious it was. Incidents like that weren't uncommon in rodeo, and since he didn't seem to be in extreme pain, the crowd simply applauded as he was carried out of the arena by his friends, while the bull was restrained and taken away. But once he was out, people began to understand that something was very wrong. Despite being rushed to the hospital, he had already suffered internal bleeding from the moment of the impact. There was little that could be done to save him. To make things worse, the bull had attacked after the ride was already over. When people found out he was in the hospital because of that, many became furious and wanted the animal to be put down. A few days later, the bull, named Taking Care of Business, was receiving death threats from Lane's fans, who even considered invading the ranch where it lived to take revenge. But in rodeo, a bull is only retired or put down if it shows a consistent pattern of abnormal aggression. That wasn't the case. In fact, Taking Care of Business was known for not being one of the most dangerous bulls. It was simply doing what any rodeo bull is trained to do: throw off the rider. What happened wasn't a plan nor something personal. It was a brutal accident at the worst possible moment. While anger grew inside Lane's inner circle, the reaction was completely different. Lane's best friend, who also competed in rodeo, left the hospital with Lane's wife and announced the death of one of the greatest icons in the sport, asking people not to take any action, saying that he himself would take revenge. 5 days later, another rodeo competition took place, and his best friend, Tough Hedeman, showed up to honor Lane's legacy. The arena was full, but the atmosphere was completely different. It wasn't just another event. It felt like a continuation of what had happened days before, and everyone was still trying to process it. And to make things even heavier, the same bull Taking Care of Business was also there, adding tension, as many fans were still angry and didn't even want it to compete. But in rodeo, riders don't choose their bulls. It's all decided by draw. And when it was Tough Hedeman's turn, it became clear that fate wouldn't follow that path directly, because he didn't draw that bull. Instead, he got one that was known to be even more difficult, more explosive, and more unpredictable. The kind of bull that pushed any rider to the absolute limit from the very first second. When the gate opened, the reaction was immediate. The bull burst out with incredible force, jumping high, spinning, and doing everything it could to throw Tough off. But something was different. Unlike a normal ride, you could tell by his posture every movement seemed firmer, more controlled, as if he was fully aware of what that moment meant. The first 8 seconds passed, which already guaranteed the score and the win, but he didn't get off. Instead, he kept holding on, extending the ride beyond what was necessary, risking his own life, while the entire arena began to realize that this was no longer about competition, but about something deeper. When he finally let go, after nearly doubling the required time, the crowd reacted immediately, but not in the usual way. Everyone understood exactly what had just happened. Because that wasn't about proving skill or dominance, it was a silent way of sharing that moment with someone who could no longer be there.